Hello everyone, and welcome to the first video of President Reacts. Here with me are Joe, Trump, and Bush. Today's topic is the Homestuck pilot. We'll be discussing it and sharing our honest thoughts about it.
Honestly, Obama, I'm surprised this is the first thing you wanted to show us. I mean, I've seen plenty of shows, but this one's a whole-ass clusterfuck.
Now hold up, no way you're already giving a bad review of the show. I mean, have you seen Egbert's tiny little teeth popping out? It's super cute.
Hold on a second. Before we start throwing jabs at this, Obama, can you give us some context and history about the show? I want to check a few things before we dive in.
Certainly. Homestuck is a webcomic by Andrew Hussey about 4 kids who start playing a mysterious game called Spurb. It turns out to be a world-creating and sometimes world-destroying game that involves time travel, alternate universes, and god-tier powers. The story ran from April 13, 2009 to April 13, 2016. You can check out the webcomic yourself if you're curious.
Okay, that clears up some of the tone. We really did get hit by how sudden it was. Most shows usually have a slow introduction, but this one was pretty wild.
Wild but amazing. Did you see that fight he had with Slenderman? The animation really hit hard.
Good animation doesn't equal a good story. But honestly, you saw how short this thing was. For a company being funded by VivziePop, you'd expect them to put in a few more million to expand the pilot. Also, that wasn't Slenderman, that was his dad.
Well, either way, I didn't know cake could be used like that.
It was more of a mild argument with his dad, as he's tired of the Betty Crocker brand cake mix and such.
Wait, he's actually supposed to be a kid? Honestly, I thought he was a teenager because of the way he acts and how tall he is.
Yeah, that's still up for debate. Some say he's 13, and others say there's a time skip to 16. It gets a bit confusing.
All right, anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the actual criticism of the show. First off, I think VivziePop really messed up with how this was introduced. I don't think the pilot should have been posted on her main YouTube channel. It should have been uploaded to a separate channel.
Are you sure? I mean, her channel has over 10 million subscribers, so the pilot got widespread attention. With that kind of audience, it was basically guaranteed to blow up the moment it dropped. Also, VivziePop didn't make the show. She's an executive producer. It was created by Sky Henwood and a separate group known as Spindle Roo.
Same shit, just a different name for Spindlehorse. Not very original, especially the design.
Hold up, Obama. Let me give a simple explanation. If I follow a channel that only makes ice cream recipes, I follow it for that reason. But if it suddenly posts something completely unrelated to ice cream, like making salads, I honestly wouldn't be interested.
Oh, ignore what he said. Listen, Obama, I see what you're getting at, but honestly, it isn't really a good idea. VivziePop's reputation and her channel are so strong that they could easily overshadow Homestuck, and that might make people hesitate to follow the channel, even if it's just for Homestuck content. On top of that, the fandoms are very different, and mixing them could create unnecessary tension or confusion.
You know what they say? Plant your own roots to grow your own garden. If they try to piggyback off someone else's brand, they risk losing their own identity and the trust of fans who genuinely care about Homestuck. It's much better to grow a dedicated audience on their own terms rather than rely on someone else's reputation. In this case, they really should create their own separate channel.
Fair point. I can see it.
Wait, doesn't Homestuck have its own YouTube channel? I mean, it's been around for so long, there must be an official one.
Well, I just checked, and there is one. But it looks like there haven't been any updates for a very long time.
Sad to see they're not using everything at their disposal.
Well, now that we've taken an outsider's perspective on this, let's look at the show itself. We can start with the negatives and then move on to the positives.
Okay, let me start with this. Is there supposed to be that much cursing? From all the reviews I've seen, and even from my own experience, I didn't imagine they would curse that much. Are you sure VivziePop hasn't influenced this?
Yeah, honestly, what was that? When I heard those F-bombs dropping, I couldn't imagine a 13-year-old saying all that. Heck, even Hunter never curses that much.
VivziePop placed a curse on the show, that's why. Uttering profanities isn't even funny these days unless it's done right.
You guys might be exaggerating a bit. John says slurs in Act 1, and there are several pages in the comic where even some of the other characters do as well. Also, it was back in 2009 when using profanity was a bit more common, but they also crammed around 120 pages of the comic into this pilot, so it piled up.
Either way, it didn't work well, especially according to the reviews. The kids were cursing like sailors with no hesitation. Listen, I know none of us are Homestuck fans, so the perspective can be different between new fans and old fans.
Well, consider me not becoming a fan since I'm not going to spend weeks reading a webcomic bigger than the Bible with inconsistent writing. Only people with an online addiction could keep up with that.
All right, so the excessive use of profanity could be considered a negative, or it may depend on the individual's perspective.
Yeah, like I'm from Texas, and the only time I hear people curse like that is when they're drunk. Excessive swearing isn't pleasant to hear all the time, especially in a show that's supposed to be enjoyable for a wide audience. Also, may I add to this, who is the intended target audience? New fans or old fans?
What do you mean by that?
Well, in the pilot, there were many references and details that serve as hints for future arcs in the webcomic. Apparently, only hardcore fans would notice them. I didn't know anything since I'm new.
I get what you mean, like those floating hands in the title sequence.
Or those trolls in the end credits.
Wait, those are trolls? No way, they can't be. Don't tell me that cute blue cat girl is an ugly troll.
They've got names, you know. The one you're describing is Nepeta, along with the 12 other trolls.
Apparently, those trolls created the kid's universe.
Oh, dang, well, can we get more images of Nepeta? She's so cute.
Sure, give me a second.
Yippee! Look at her!
Gotta say, she's very charming with that cat hoodie she has, especially since the horns fit so well.
Well, back to the topic. I can see your point, George, especially since I understand the idea of adding references. But consider this. The pilot is only 11 minutes long. That really makes you question whether it's worth trying to hook up old fans or if it's better to focus on gradually building new fans through a slower process.
I get your point. The goal of a pilot is to hook as many viewers as possible. Including references might encourage people to check out the web comic, but it can also be confusing for newcomers. When parts of the story are skipped in the show, it can create issues with understanding the source material. On top of that, some longtime fans are very particular about the lore, and encountering a fresh fan who doesn't know all the details can sometimes lead to friction. Balancing the needs of new viewers and devoted fans is a tricky challenge for any adaptation.
Okay, that's one negative point. What other negatives are there?
Well, besides the god-awful pacing, everything seems fine.
Yeah, that's one thing. Also, did you know John was voiced by Toby Fox? It's crazy how such a popular dude got to voice him.
Well, if you're super popular, you can pretty much snag any job in voice acting or just about anything in general.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised because most of the time Toby Fox never shows his voice. He communicates mostly through text, spreadsheets, and cryptic messages. Yet all of a sudden he locks the fuck in and voices John in the pilot, which was completely unexpected.
True enough, but he also worked on Homestuck as a production coordinator for its soundtrack and as a composer. So it's kind of ironic that he ends up voicing the main protagonist of a series he worked on.
Just like the saying goes, the work you do always has a way of coming back to you.
There's a lot to admire here. The voice work is strong. Fox in particular brings a fun, playful energy, and the animation has a distinct, intriguing style. But with that out of the way, the writing, with all due respect, is rather clunky. Exposition is always a challenge, especially with a series as famously dense as Homestuck. I would give it the president's approval if they cut back on the slurs. We don't need another Vivzy Pop show. We already have 2 out there, so let's not make it 3.
How about the characters? I really enjoyed Dave. He reminds me of a son I could have had back in the day.
The characters were all right. None really caught my interest. Well, maybe except Jade.
Any reason why her?
Hey, I just said what caught my interest. That's it. No need for a deep explanation.
Well, I enjoyed John a bit, not because he's the main character, but I've read a little of the webcomic and hope to see the progress he will experience.
As the saying goes, suffering builds character.
Well, you already know who my favorite is. I just wish I could rub her little head.
She isn't appearing for a good while in the show, but judging by how they're compressing the webcomic, I'd guess she'll show up around episode 7 or somewhere near the end.
That's if the show even gets greenlit, and judging by the views, I doubt it.
Cut it some slack, Donnie. It's an unexpected series with potential.
I could criticize it more, but I'm controlling myself. I just hope future episodes will fix the issues, or that they'll remake the pilot into a better episode.
Give it some time, Donnie. Before we wrap up, can we get a montage of Nepeta Obama?
Sure, Joe.
Yippee!
And thanks to everyone for coming here and listening to our ramblings. Hopefully we'll get new episodes soon. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.
If you've reached the end, comment on this video about what they could have done better for the pilot, or anything else that's on your mind.
Remember to subscribe if you wish. It can help boost the creator's confidence in making these videos. Until then, have a nice day. Until next time.